learn to invest, why not you? Call Online Trading Academy now to attend a free half-day class to see how it works. At the free class, you'll also get the Wall Street Insiders Kit, packed with trading ideas, free. Call Online Trading Academy now, 561-674-9800, 561-674-9800, 561-674-9800.
This is Talk 1470.
Talk 1470.
WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
This is Tanoa Lynn Poirier, and I want to welcome you to Comm-Unity Conversations on WNN 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. This show is about you. I want to hear your trials and triumphs, challenges and victories, and how you overcome obstacles every day in our dynamic industry. All callers are welcome to join Community Conversations. This is where we'll discuss all things in common. We'll discuss managers, directors, vendors, and owners. Let's elevate the conversation. Raise the bar. Start here, now. Welcome to Community Conversations with Tanoa. I'm your host, Tanoa Lynn Poirier. You are listening to WNN 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. You can also watch live on Facebook, facebook.com// Hello Tanoa. That's HELLOTANOA. And if you go to hellotanoa.com, you'll see all sorts of past shows, vlogs, and blogs. And there's also some information about the book, 365 Tips. Welcome in. Happy Friday. Good Friday. Happy Good Friday to all of us who celebrate. And I have a treat for you. Last time I teased that I had waterproofing, and I said I wouldn't sing again. Sorry about that again. But it can be exciting because for community association managers and boards, particularly along the ocean, Nawane, this is something that we fight all the time. I was introduced to a very bright man. He is from a company called Geico. They're a Firestone building products company. And we talked about waterproofing, and he kind of blew my mind because I thought I knew what I had and what I was talking about. And he kind of, taught me a few things, and I want him to teach you a few things. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Matt Rodemeyer to you. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, did I get that right? It's a Firestone building.
Yeah, so Geico was purchased in 2017 by Firestone Building Products. Prior to that, we were founded in 1955, a privately held company, all the way up until 2017. So now we have the backing of a big brand like Firestone.
So you'll recognize the brand on his shirt. It's very recognizable, right? Mm-hmm. So Matt was introduced to me by a mutual business acquaintance, and I took him out to a property that I was at the time on site, and we started talking about some challenges I had with waterproofing. And I would like Matt to first tell us a little more about the company, about yourself, and how people can contact you.
Okay, so my name is Matt Rodemeyer. I'm the Southeast Florida and Caribbean rep for Geico, covering all of our waterproofing products from roofing to decking and below-grade waterproofing. Our company, like I said, was founded in 1955, and we've really had our roots in technology and continuing to develop products that are superior in the market and will provide a long-term waterproofing solution. And so, we came to the market with our silicone coatings about 2006, and we created a market that didn't exist with silicone roof coatings. Now today, everybody has a silicone that they're pitching to be just as good as Geico. And, we could put the product data sheets side by side if we really wanted to. But basically, it's the support we show in the market and, really standing behind our products. And, we're coming into the market now trying to sell our decking and waterproofing products and elevate the market again to expect something different and expect something better. So instead of having the waterproofing products, start to peel off in the first 30 to 60 days, or even at 5 years completely shot blasting and having to start back over at concrete, we're able to offer a solution with the waterproofing system that, for vehicular traffic or pedestrian traffic that's renewable.
Right. And property managers, particularly those of us who manage properties on the ocean, you very often have this heavy vehicular decks that require waterproofing because very often there is a garage underneath for parking, or just regular waterproofing to try to preserve the structure. And the beautiful words that came out of his mouth with long-term waterproofing solution. Those are three great words that we're going to try to continue to delve into. Now, you mentioned that you were coming into the market. We're heavier in a market in a different part of the country.
So our decking and waterproofing products, yes. So we're a Seattle-based company, and like I said, we've been around since 1955. But the first time we ever put a rep in Florida was 2006, and so we focused on growing our silicone roof restoration products, and we've really gotten to the point where we're the 800-pound gorilla in the silicone roofing restoration business, and now we're trying to shift the focus a little bit, where we've created a decking and waterproofing division that is going to be able to hopefully do the same thing and elevate the customer's expectations.
And we're all about elevating the conversation is kind of our tagline. I'm not sure that you gave the folks a chance to reach out to you, your email, website, and your phone number.
Yep, so the website is www.gaco, and that's GACO.com. My phone number is 954-815-6028. That is my cell phone. It is posted on our website as well, because we want you to want to get in touch with us. We want to be able to be present to walk your projects. My email is mrodemeyer, so that's M as in Matt. Rodemeyer is RODEMEYER @GACO, and that's GACO.com.
Excellent. If you are in the market right now, we know that our busy season, managers in Florida, is in the summer. So you're very likely, like I am at some of the properties, looking to fix some delamination that I'm having in some of the areas, fix some repairs. Some of the places need to be completely restored down to the concrete because of a product that, as you saw, has completely delaminated and the concrete is visible, I should say. So if you are in the market and you just want someone like Matt to come and give you a quote, educate you on what your options are, because you have obviously worked with a contractor in the past, let Matt show you what else is out in the market. I'm certainly going to encourage him to offer a proposal to the community that we first met, because I'm kind of blown away. He did say the 800-pound gorilla in the roof restoration area, but this area is, you may not know him yet, but you're all going to know him shortly. So if you would just tell me how this product is different than the products you find when you visit a community like the one in which we met.
Okay. Well, the first step that GACO takes in all of our waterproofing systems is to seal the concrete. So concrete likes to breathe. It sucks in moisture in the evening and tries to outgas it again in the morning. So if you don't stop that buoyancy of vapor drive, you're going to have an issue if the waterproofing comes off. So we seal the concrete first, which is a step a lot of people don't take, and then we prime the sealer and put a base coat down. Another step that people don't take, they'll cast their granule or their aggregate, it's called, into the base coat, which then the aggregate actually settles all the way down to the concrete surface. Well, then you apply pressure with a tire on that granule, and it kicks that granule out of that coating, allowing moisture to get into the concrete. Again, concrete's like a sponge. It likes to absorb moisture, and then it'll outgas it, peeling the coating off in multiple areas. And then the next thing that we do that's different is we use a walnut shell granule as our aggregate. So, yes, I did say walnut shell. So,
This one.
So everyone else is using sand or aluminum oxide, from what I know, and sand or aluminum oxide is encapsulated by the coating. So you're casting it into the coating is encapsulating it, and it's not part of the system. It's within the system. So you apply pressure, and you basically have sandpaper inside your system. Right. So you apply that pressure, and those granules will kick out. If you're ever walking across any waterproofing in your board and you want to look down, look at the waterproofing, and you will see these little black spots everywhere. Yep. That's not the granule showing through. That's actually where the granule is no longer, and now there's moisture that's gotten inside there, and those black spots are typically algae or mildew growth that's trying to get, and it's going to eat into that coating until it gets down into the concrete. So the crushed walnut shell actually wears away at the same pace as your top coat, right?
Is it because it's organic?
It's just so there's a couple of different things. So it actually absorbs the coating. So because it's kind of it's porous, it absorbs the coating while it's still wet, and when it cures, it hardens and becomes part of the coating system. And the other thing is it's not as hard as a sand, right? So it's got a little give to it. So when that pressure is applied, it will give and it'll wear away, right? Like I said, at the same pace as your top coat.
Right.
So you get to the point where you're 5 or 10 years down the road, depending on what system you put down, you clean it, you apply another coat, you cast a new granule into it, you top coat over the top of it, because you don't have to go all the way back to shot blasting, which is very expensive. So you're losing, if you have to go back to shot blasting, you're losing the entire system starting completely over again.
Explain to the listeners what shot blasting means.
Okay, so shot blasting is a system where they bring in a big machine that basically shoots down BBs at the concrete, and it'll remove the waterproofing system that's there, and it'll open up the concrete and open up the pores of the concrete, and then they'll put down the same thing that they've always put down, and in 5 years it's peeling off of the deck, and then they get to come back in and do it again in another 5 years. Which is a great way to continue to sell a lot of product, but it's not a great solution.
It's not the best thing for the client.
It's not. It's elevating the customer's expectations.
Right.
You're right.
So interesting, elevating the customer's expectations. Another great takeaway phrase. You mentioned something about the concrete breathing, and in some areas, it's an inanimate object. Explain what that means. Concrete needs to breathe.
Well, I mean, concrete's like a sponge. It's basically just, it's aggregate. It's, it's powdery, it's dusty, it's open pores, and it's cured together to create a hard surface. Well, it's very porous. It has open pockets within it, right? And so, a natural occurrence every day is dew. And so that dew and that vapor and that moisture soaks into the concrete, and then in the morning it'll come back gassing off back out of the concrete as the sun hits it and heats it up. Moisture always turns to vapor, right, when it heats up, and so then it'll heat up and come back out of the concrete. And so that pressure puts, if you have a waterproofing system on there, the moisture is gonna come in nice and slow throughout the evening, and then the sun's gonna hit it in the morning, and it's gonna that vapor is gonna push, and it's gonna push the coating right off. I actually had a distributor say to me that urethanes don't have good adhesion over concrete. And I kind of stopped him. I said, well, historically, you're right. If you don't seal the concrete first, you're not going to have that great adhesion, because that's the vapor drive pushing it off the top.
Very interesting. See how much we're learning about concrete breathing and elevating our expectation. The other thing I want to remind managers is that you don't have to know what Matt knows. You bring Matt into your board when you are making a recommendation to them, and your job is to facilitate the needs of the community. So you find the vendors. You can't know everything, and this is outside of your lane. But what you do know is that you have a problem. You need waterproofing on a roof or a vehicular surface. You may know, as I do, that those surfaces get heavy traffic, and the torque of the tires on the traditional system or the system you may have, you're going to see those little black marks where the silica or the sand has kind of separated from the product. And when he was discussing it, I could see in my mind's eye exactly what he was talking about. So the walnut shell adhering to or becoming a part of the product is something new, something I hadn't heard of. And I'm certain that you haven't either if you've not used it. I am fascinated to hear more about what Matt has to tell us, teach us. In the second half, we are going to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to learn more about maybe some roof waterproofing as well, because that's something you do. And we want to make sure that we get all the goodies from Matt. See you on the other side. Imagine having one place you can call for all your residential needs, whether it's housekeeping, repairs, remodeling, pet sitting, laundry, or anything else your heart desires. La Concierge Services is your answer. Our qualified staff is carefully chosen, experienced, licensed, and insured. They are prompt, professional, and courteous. La Concierge Services is honored to serve in South Florida's most exclusive communities. With Le Concierge Services, you have a full-service, personal concierge. We would love the opportunity to earn your business. Call 561-819-2059 for more information. La Concierge Services, your personal concierge. Hello, listeners. It's Tanoa Lynn from Community Conversations. Did you know I authored a book called 365 Tips for Community Association Managers, Property Managers, and Property Owners? Yep, I did. The book is filled with little, bite-sized morsels that may help anyone working and living in any community. From working with difficult people to building consensus for big projects. There is something in it for everyone. 365 Tips is available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You can also go online to hellotanoa.com. That's hello, Tanoa.com. Welcome back. This is Tanoa Lynn Poirier with Community Conversations. And I want to remind you that this show is about you. If you'd like to join the show, you can call us at 888-565-1470. Let's get back to the show. Welcome back, listeners. You are listening to Community Conversations with Tanoa on WNN 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. You can also watch live, Facebook.com. I can't speak today. Facebook.com/Hello Tanoa, Tanoa. We are speaking with Matt Rodemeyer of Geico Products, and over the break, he told me a story that you have to tell. It is the San Francisco bus barn story.
Yeah.
Illuminate the audience, would you?
It's a good story.
Yeah.
So out in San Francisco, like I said, we've been out there since 1955. The guy who's the rep out there, his name's Warner. He's been there. His grandpa was a rep for Geico. His dad was a rep for Geico, and now he's a rep for Geico. And so, he's very well known in the industry out there as far as decking and waterproofing goes. So there was a bus barn in San Francisco. So it's a city bus barn, so a parking garage just for the city buses. And they never could get a waterproofing system to work there, and they invited 6 manufacturers to put a test patch down. And the test, after 2 of the manufacturers heard what the test was, they didn't bother to show up. And so 4 manufacturers showed up, and the test was they were going to set a bus stationary and just turn the wheels back and forth on the waterproofing system. Well, after 3 turns, 2 of the manufacturers delaminated from the surface. After 6 turns, the other manufacturer delaminated from the surface, leaving only Geico. So after 25 turns, they awarded the job to Geico and said, "Great job, let's go to lunch." Well, the guy in the bus kept going up to 100 turns and finally gave up. The system was still perfectly adhered to the surface.
Score! Yeah. That is amazing. Isn't that a great story? So that is the kind of story that you would tell at a board meeting, because that sticks, right? Yep. So people understand that if you have that level of competition and that you win the job kind of based on the fact that the other systems failed, and then somebody kept trying until failure but didn't kind of meet that it's probably something that's going to take the regular vehicular traffic in a community association.
Right, and not only that, these are the same exact products we use in our pedestrian waterproofing system. So like on patio decks, the system is the exact same physical properties from the base to the top. So it's a vertically integrated system that we just use a different we use a different size walnut shell so that it's not abrasive to your feet.
Right.
But it's the exact same system for your patio, so you can imagine how well that's going to stand up to the tables and chairs and traffic and high heel shoes.
And does that work? Do you do that for pool decks as well?
We have systems for that. Just be a different application. So we have a lot of different specifications, a lot of different applications, and we would bore everyone going through them.
We're not going to go. And you also have, your company had another kind of high-profile client in Miami, Key Biscayne.
Yeah, we did the top waterproofing around the entire Crandon Park Tennis Center. So if you want to Google image that place, it's a pretty impressive place. And so that place gets a lot of traffic, and it was a cool project to do.
It is, and also a high-profile place like a San Francisco bus barn or a company in Key Biscayne. There are a lot of eyes on that. They have a lot of liability for getting things right. So hiring a company like Geico, and we will give Matt's information again before the end of the show on how you can contact him, really is not just a decision they make lightly. They are trying to choose the best vendor to give them the best long-term solution for what they need. And so those are a couple of really great references for coastal communities. If you're on the West Coast or you're on the East Coast of Florida, anywhere, particularly along A1A in Florida, and for those of you who are in Florida, understand what we mean, it really is worth your time to at least give Matt an opportunity to meet with you, meet with your board, tell them about the product, tell them how different it is working with silica and sand and working with the walnut shells. And then would you be amenable to field trips by board members and managers to take a look at some projects that you have done?
Absolutely.
Because that's huge. Yeah. Sometimes people are tactile. Mm-hmm. Right, and not only do they need to see the product, they need to kind of touch it, feel it, understand it, and just sort of having a conversation. They can't imagine it. So that opportunity,
which is nice that the Crandon Park Tennis Center is a property we did, because it's wide open to the public. Anybody can go there and take a look at the project and see the heavy equipment they're moving around and up there with the bleachers and stuff constantly, and you can just kind of imagine the abuse that system takes.
Absolutely. So, And give us a little idea of your roof restoration system. I also mentioned that we are in the process of a roof restoration system using a waterproofing roof restoration. If you could just give the audience a little idea of the process for Geico.
Okay. So the history before Geico showed up to the market was acrylic elastomeric. So you probably heard the term elastomerics. Yep. So a lot of acrylic manufacturers wanted to use this word called elastomeric because it sounds fancier than telling you they're selling you an acrylic paint. Well, elastomeric is a category of coatings that happen to be elastic. So underneath that are silicones, acrylics, urethanes. Urethanes have a ton of different products underneath that umbrella. Saying something's elastomeric is like saying you're going to buy a car. So we came out with a silicone elastomeric. So acrylics are organic in nature. They're broken down by UV rays. They chalk off, wear away, the sun wears them away, the rain washes them away, and you have to continually clean and recoat all the time in order to maintain your film thickness, which the film thickness is what protects the roof surface from, the sun and damage, right? And so the other thing that acrylics do is they fail under ponding water. And so every roof in South Florida that's flat has ponding water.
Absolutely.
Right? And so everybody says, how do I get this ponding water off of here? And really, if you try and build that area up, you're just going to move the water somewhere else. And a lot of manufacturers have come out with products. I'm not going to name any names, but there's products that are very cementitious in nature that are really bad for roofs because of thermal expansion and contraction and the elasticity that products need to have on a roof. And these cementitious, like slope products to try and build up areas are not going to be a good application on a roof because of, again, the thermal expansion and contraction. So, we came out with a product that has the highest physical properties. It's a silicone. It has the highest physical properties on the market. We were first to come out with a silicone back in 1993. First manufacturer ever to make a silicone roof coating, right? Silicone's around before that as caulking and things like that, but never as a roof coating. And so, we've really been innovative in that. And this is our third generation silicone that we launched back in 2006 that really fueled the growth of Geico. And it revolutionized the coating industry. And really, it's revolutionizing the roofing industry as well. Roof coatings is the fastest growing segment in the building products envelope. And silicone inside that is the fastest growing segment within the fastest growing segment. And the reason why is because people are looking for a better option than having to tear off and re-roof and that expensive, when do I have to bite the bullet and tear this roof off of here, right?
And it also allows you to extend the life of that roof 10, 15 years. And you can tell me about your product, but you just brought to mind one of the things that we have to do every 2 years on the roof restoration. This is my new mouth, so bear with me. Roof restoration systems is that we have to power wash those every 2 years because they're recommended for the warranty and with the manufacturer that I've worked with, that the installer has got to clean those every 2 years because of the separation. think that you talked about, and that is something they recommend. He's giving me an interesting face here because he's like, what is this language that you're speaking?
Must be specific to that manufacturer's requirements.
That does not sound familiar to you.
No, I highly recommend. I mean, it's definitely good to clean your roof. And the thing about it is, before, when you put acrylic coatings down, you couldn't clean your roof, because if you clean your roof, you're going to wash the coating away. With a silicone roof coating, it's inorganic. It's not broken down by UV rays. It doesn't chalk and wear away over time. You can clean it every day if you wanted to. You're not going to lose your film build. So keeping the roof clean is actually very important.
Yes.
But also, maintaining, making sure the product is properly installed in the first place by a qualified applicator is also important.
And that is where the manufacturer comes in. If you were to recommend an installer for us, you would verify that they're installing the product properly.
Correct. You should always get the manufacturer involved.
When you are doing a restoration.
If you're doing roof restoration work. Yeah.
Absolutely. So at whatever benchmarks the manufacturer needs to make sure that you have the correct warranty, someone like Matt will come in and take a look at the project as it's going along to make sure that they're doing it properly. And another thing I just want to say is, as you are in the process of considering all of your capital projects, you want to make sure you get your engineer involved to make sure you're structurally okay, because remember, your partners are your engineer, your attorney, and your CPA, and so you always want to make sure that you have them involved. But they would work with Matt and the installer and the engineer to make sure that all your bases are covered. And do yourself a favor, Matt, before we begin to close, would you remind people how they can get in touch with you?
You can get a hold of me at my email. It's mrodemeyer@Geico, and so that's MRODEMEYER@Geico, and that's GACO.com. Or you can call me on my cell phone. It's 954-815-6028.
Well, I've learned a lot. I'm positive you guys have learned a lot. Remember, this show can be replayed on Facebook. It will be on YouTube, and I will share it with my social media on Twitter at Hello Tanoa, and on LinkedIn. And I'm going to share it with Matt so that he can share it with his friends as well. I learned so much. I hope you did too. Good Friday. Have a great weekend. Be a blessing to somebody today. I'll see you next time. It was great as usual. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you so much.
See you next time. Bye. You have been listening to Community Conversations with Tanoa Lynn Poirier. It is my honor to host this program, and I appreciate you listening. We have an exciting show planned for you next week, so mark your calendars and join me every Friday at 5 p.m. on WNN 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. We look forward to hearing from you, our listeners. It's all about learning, sharing, and teaching. We're all in this together. Until next time, be a blessing to someone and endeavor to persevere.